Greetings, viewers of Playing the Field with Shakes. How are we? Rulani Mokwena, let's talk.
That's how it goes?
They keep asking about the best when they know it's me.
Okay.
Asking about the rest when they know it's me.
Straight in, I guess.
You know it's me.
Rulani, Mr. Mokwena Mlungisi, the Mamelodi Sundowns coach. Look, I know Sundowns was in action last night. I get it. But I mean, for me, with regards to that game, regardless of the result, Sundowns are going to go win the league. I'm trying to talk about the CAF Champions League and what happened over the weekend, because that's bigger, right? Like, I go back to that game and I'm thinking, wow, Rulani, you sacrificed your principles, man. You know, you really did it. You let go of the philosophy and you tried something different at the time that you did it. And I'm going to go on a little bit of rant on the side, right, for the fans, because I'm tired of all these fans who don't watch the game. Like, you guys don't watch the game. You know, you come here with these stats, because I spoke about the fact that how desperate Mamelodi Sundowns looked. And I also spoke about the fact that I wasn't sure if those tactics worked. And people go on about stats and they created this. And I'm thinking, guys, if a team is going to play low block against an attacking team, what do you think is going to happen? Of course, the attacking team is going to have possession. Of course, the attacking team is going to have more shots. Man City, Real Madrid, Liverpool against Manchester United. But what's the result that the low blocking team wanted? Was to not concede, and that is what Esperance did over 2 legs. So should Rulani go? That's been the conversation. Should he go? Should he get fired? Spoke in his press conference. He looked as nervous as I've ever seen him, because he was speaking about, oh snap, I don't run the football club, but I know that it takes time to win things. I don't think Rulani should go. But what I do think is, Rulani, you need to learn how to buy yourself some time. And how do you do that? Like, to reference Pep, the way he does it, City and all that stuff, and how it took so much time for City to win the Champions League. Let's not forget, Pep was winning league titles and winning Carabao Cups and winning FA Cups and winning Community Shields. So even though it took time to win the Champions League, he was winning all those other cups, showing that he's competitive and he's getting closer. And unfortunately, man, you drive the best car. You drive the most expensive car. So you are going to get judged. So I think these little cups like Nedbank Cup, MTN8 and all that, you have to win those. You got to win those. And winning the AFL, no doubt, that's a big one. But for me, minimum, every season, Sundowns have to win 2 trophies. No doubt about it. So I don't think Rulani must go right now. But I can tell you now, next season, it's going to be crunch time. We have a big one tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Banyana legend, analyst on SABC, UEFA B licensed, and as well as the under-17 Abantwana coach, Simphiwe Dludlu, is in the house. And I asked a very deep question. We already have men coaching in the women's game. When will we have a woman coaching in the men's game?
Today, guys, we have another big guest on Playing the Field with Shakes. Now, this is a guest that I respect highly, a football analyst, played for Banyana, a legend. And I'm happy to tell everybody she's a UEFA B licensed coach, thoughtful and very humble. Under 17s coach. Simphiwe Dludlu, how are you?
Finally get to have a chat with the famous Shakes, Lalela, the evolution. I'm good. How are you?
No, man, I'm good. You speaking to me, I'm the famous one, but I am nowhere near the levels of having to go to the Olympic Museum. So you on your socials, we saw these nice pictures of you having to go out there doing the most. What was going on there? I mean, it came out of surprise.
I wasn't also expecting it. I think I just wanted to get to Switzerland, do my graduation and get out, but I think those guys always have something planned, because we are doing this with the US Olympic Committee and the University of Delaware. So these guys have got a program that's been going on for the past 14 years. It's an international coaching enrichment certificate program, ICECP, and 35 of us were there from different countries, your Latvia, your Ecuador, your Costa Rica, You speak to like Asia, it's all the continents represented. I think only Oceania wasn't there, but you found Bangladesh there, you found Serbia there, you found, so it was a lot of Jordan, you found the Jordan there, Kenya, Zambia, South Africa there. So it was just beautiful. I got assigned to one of the best programs of women's football. That is the University of Carolina, where the famous and the first coach of the US national team was, and that for me was incredible. So the whole week I spent there at the university, get to see what's happening, how do they run their programs. There's a lot I learned in that 1 week. I wish to go back again, spend a month, maybe even the rest of my career, because I was doing research about long-term athlete development. So it ended up being a research to find out how much do people know, how much do coaches in women's football understand in depth what is long-term athlete development, what it entails, why is it important. So my objective and abstract was to create an awareness about LTAD, and the vision and the mission was to educate coaches, everybody that is involved in women's football, and the aim was to go to 9 provinces in the 6 months. But funding and all, we always have challenges, but I managed to do few workshops in Gauteng. So those few workshops, I managed to do them with coaches that were doing a C license, with also administrators in the USA national teams, And what, Shakes, you'll be shocked. Which there's a lot of people that are involved in our football that don't know the importance of LTAD, what it is. A lot of the people as administrators were like, what is LTAD? And these are the guys that sign programs. These are the guys that make sure the coaches follow certain things. So that's why clubs don't have consistency, because they don't have a blueprint of what is LTAD, what is expected of coaches, and how they must coach at a certain age group and things like that. And that affects the national teams, especially in women's football.
Coach, you speak in great detail, right? When you speak, and it's not the first time that when someone watches Coach Dludlu speak about football, they take notes. You find even men taking notes as well. It's not necessarily just the women's side that you're impacting. That I must also add, you've now just qualified for UEFA B license, coach. You've spoken about long-term development of players as well. What is your ambition? Like, is it because you've seen your analyst TV, you've coached our Banyana youth structures? I'm just thinking, like, you sound ambitious. I'm just thinking, what is the ambition with regards to what would you like to be? Is it the long-term development coach and that's it?
The beauty of being a coach is that the more you discover your art and create a niche for yourself in a niche market, that's where you get to establish and find ways. This course gave me wings. Being at the SAFA Academy as a player in 2004, we were one of the first, the people that started the academy. And 20 years later, I'm the head coach of the same academy. That is big on my career, but financially it does not translate as much. And you have to find ways to re-establish yourself, always reintroduce yourself to the market. I never assume people know me, people love me, people will vote for me, people will go for me. I always want to convince people through my work and the work that I do and the quality of work that I put out. So for me, as a woman in football, the next step is to say, can I go overseas and coach? Can I be in the senior team one day? Can I go to the under 20? Can there be an under 23 team one day out there? Can I go to Africa and coach? Because in the country right now, it's difficult to have a woman coach who gets paid really well and says, I'm making a full living out of this, like our male counterparts. And that is a challenge for all of us. If I could lose my job in the national teams right now, it would be a struggle. I would have to go find work elsewhere and try other things. Already, I have to get multiple income streams, being on TV. Now and then when you invite me and say, Coach, please come have a talk here, you get to, pay an invoice there. But it doesn't come regularly because you constantly have to prove yourself. You don't really find brands that believe in women in sport. not just football.
Now, Coach,
And for longevity.
Sorry to cut you in, Coach. I wanted to ask about that because one of the things I was very curious about, and also this game inside out, we've seen men coaching in women's game. Like, we've seen that happen. And I saw it being a conversation that's been happening in Europe as well. When will football trust women like yourself in the way that you're speaking as well? Because you're very knowledgeable. When will football trust women to coach in the men's game? Why can't I one day hope and pray that, I don't know, that Coach Dludlu could be the coach of Supersport United, Kaizer Chiefs, or it could be the coach of Bafana Bafana? When will that transition happen? Because we've seen men coaching in the women's game.
I think we look at history. History of it is that in England, the FA, the women's FA is 50 years behind. During the war, the women were the ones that were playing football, were the ones that were working in the farms and all of that, in the factories and all of that, when men were at war and all of that. Now, with the war ending and all of that, they found women to be playing better football than the males. Now you must know there's a paradigm shift, that's a scale that's tipping. Now the FA says if there's anybody that is found giving a stadium or support to women playing football, they're going to be banned out of the FA. For 50 years, that stood. So now imagine if 50 years, all of that was not happening and we were allowed, how much more the game would have been big, how much more the game would have grown. Yes, it's growing in leaps and bounds, getting better and better, but we are chasing 50 years when you are a team in Europe, when you're a team in Brazil, or a team in the US. But what about teams in Africa? We are 60, 70 years behind because we are always behind with what the rest of the world that are champions are doing. Now, generally, women are always seen inferior in any industry, even in nursing, even you find that there's more men that get to be paid better in nursing, whereas it's seen as a woman industry where women should be the first ones to do nursing, for example. Chef cooking is known for women to be doing that. But if you put a male chef and a woman and a female chef, the male chef will earn more, even if the female chef is superior, is good. Now, but in those spaces, you get to see competition. It becomes better and better. Let's bring it to sport. You bring it to sport. There's always going to be a gentleman's club. And a gentleman's club will always prioritize their species, which is the males, more than the females, because we are known and seen to be inferior in knowing and having the quality to be coaches, to be experts at certain things. Those that are experts in the field and are able to be respected and regarded, they would have fought a long time and a lot, So it would take, to answer your question, I know I gave you a long history, but to answer your question, it would take somebody who is a praiser of a team to say, I believe in a Simphiwe Dludlu, I believe in a Moegoe, I believe in a Desiree Ellis, I believe in so and so to coach in my club. And not do it to tick a box, just to go against the status quo, but to do it genuinely because they believe in what you can achieve and who you are. Yes. It would take a lot, to be honest with you. There was once a French woman who did that in a second division in France. And how many are there that are allowed and spoken about and put there? So it would take somebody and a board of directors that truly believe in the art and the work of that woman coach to put her there and let her work in that space, and believe in her and let her work because she's a coach. I've always said I'm not a women's football coach. I am a football coach because for me, it's neither here nor there. And now when you specialize and go into detail, then being a male coaching in the male industry, it becomes easy. Being a female in a female industry, it becomes even easier. But you can cross-coach, you just need to have the knowledge and have the experience and be able to refer and get information, because I need to understand if I'm a male coach in a women's football team, that there's things like menstrual cycle, there's hormonal imbalance, there's all of those things. And if I have the knowledge and I have coaches around me that are able to educate and help us understand the landscape we are working on, it becomes easy, And for me, it should be just about quality. But sometimes when you fight certain systems, you are hitting your head against the wall, and the brain is the only thing you have to function. Now, someone would say, let women stick in women's football, let men stick in men's football. That would be nice and easy if only the resources were the same, the treatment was, and the remunerations and all of those things were the same. We wouldn't be fighting to go to even better opportunities, because men's football pays more, has more resources, has more structure, and you'd want to jump over and go there because you are sustained. It's a career. Whereas with a lot of us, just like when you are playing, you have to study at the same time, play to be a professional. But with men, they don't even care about going to school, getting an education, because it's a career. It's something that pays them every week, every month, millions. So it would really take Upreza that really believes, a board that believes in women, to be coming into that space and work in that space where they see you as just a coach, and that's it.
Coach, 2 questions that I have remaining left. Desiree Ellis, I just want to touch on her before I do go. She's been obviously had her on. She's been an honorary as well. She's a doctor now, was referred to as Dr. Ellis. She's done a lot for the women's game. She's achieved a lot for the women's game, but unfortunately, there's that blemish that people saw last, as we did not make it to the Olympics. Unfortunately, so. Now the question I have is that, do you think Coach Desiree Ellis is still the one to get us going or keep on going? What do you think?
Look, for me, it's not solely dependent on Coach Desiree Ellis. It could be anyone. Could be Shakes, that is the coach. Could be Coach Jerry. Could be Coach Simphiwe. Could be Coach Shelleen. Anybody. The biggest question we should be asking, do we have the players that can compete at that level? We can put any coach there. Will that coach be able to find quality players that have undergone through the stages properly of football and are developed well? Because then you find a player that is good for 2 matches only. But when you're in a tournament, when you are up against an experienced Nigeria, an experienced Morocco, an experienced Zambia, they can't come to the fore. And those players should be able to go overseas and play. The reason Banyana did well in 2023 World Cup is because now we have the experience. The reason why we won the AFCON in 2022 is because those players are playing overseas in competitive leagues where they are training to win. They know what is winning. Even the players that are at Sundowns that you are picking, they are training to win because they are in Champions League. They are doing this, they are doing that. And the other players that you find in the other clubs, they've matured, they know what is winning, even if they're in teams that are not as successful, because it's not only the successful teams that have got a good long-term athlete development process. And in women's football, because you hardly find coaches that understand the quality of coaching and the importance of getting an education as a coach, being a quality coach, so that you continuously produce quality players. There's teams like Cape Town Roses, Sunflower. In Cape Town, you find a lot of those teams. And in Gauteng now, JVW is doing that, Sundowns is doing that, Stax, all of those teams. Those are the teams that have got young groups that are coming up. Because why? They understand LTAD. Because those players that you're finding in Sundowns now, some of them have gone through their process. Some of the players that we have in the HPC is because of the program that we have, that it addresses the 7 stages of a player coming up to the national team. So again, to answer your question, I know I went to Cape Town and Switzerland and back, but if South African coaches are not producing quality players to compete in the under-17s, in the under-20, even under-23 players, and in the league, then we are still going to find challenges. We are still going to find challenges, because it means we're going to rely on players that are playing overseas that are getting older. We're going to rely on players that are here in the country that are getting older, and we keep them there. But if there's young players that are putting their hands, not 1, not 2, but 5 players that are coming up, 6 players that are coming up in the Super League, in the Sasso League, in the national team structures, then you can say what type of coach you want, and you can really say this coach is not good enough or that coach is good enough. Because no matter what a brilliant coach can try and do, if you don't have the best players coming through to the national team, it's not club level. Your results, you must win. Those are the only results that are needed. There's no building time and all of those things. So whoever that needs to sit there, I can say that If she still wants to stay, that would be on Dr. Ellis. If she says, I'm happy, I've done so much for women's football. And if she's saying, I'm still there and she's still inspiring a lot of us.
Why not? And Coach, the final question. I've enjoyed this so much because I'm learning so much, but I don't have much time. So the final question I have for you, no wrong answers. You can answer it any way you would like. Where is South African football for you right now?
We are still able to export players, good players, young players. We are still able to qualify for big tournaments. Your Champions League, both men and women, AFCON, and youth teams also, even though we don't get to the World Cups and compete and to win and all of that. We are standing in a very unique position. Naturally, South Africans are talented. The biggest challenge is proper structure consistently. And I'm emphasizing proper structure consistently, where you find youth coaches in the grassroots, in the youth structures that are qualified and are well taken care of. Because if you find those coaches that have Ajax, Cape Town structures, Supersport structures, Kaizer Chiefs structures in those days, Pirate structures, Sundowns structures, Cape Town Spurs, you can name them. There's a lot of those academies that are out there. School of Excellence that is dying now, and it's a big loss. Imagine how many talented players are going to miss out on playing structured football. So now, South Africa is in a very unique place. That's why the rest of the world is jealous of us, your Brazil and all of that, because you don't have to teach us how to do a samba under pressure. You don't have to teach us a lot, but you have to teach us when to do it. Why must I do it? What results will I get if I'm doing it? The showboating and all of that, it's tagged wrong, but it's not. Because Neymars of this world, Ronaldinho's of this world do it. We are a brilliant species. The only challenge is proper structure from grassroots going all the way up, embracing ourselves and embracing our own. Otherwise, the world can never touch us, because you can only teach technique, but you can't teach those are things you can never teach. We naturally have those things.
Coach, I can't believe it. I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my show. The brain that you have, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I just want to say thank you. And I also want to highlight that I've met Coach Simphiwe Dludlu, and every time I've met her, humble, nice, sweet. I can't believe it, man. You have a real, that brain. I wish I could borrow it sometimes when I'm recording. When I'm recording, I'm like, let me speak. But I take notes from you. I watch you. I admire you. And I wish you all the best always.
Thank you so much, Shakes. Yabong.
Who was up to par and who became our star, but also who fell short in this game we all love? Let's find out on Moegoe of the Week. The star of the week is very obvious, Ikram Reyners. Guys, 5 goals in the PSL is big, but 5 goals in the PSL in one match is gigantic. Even Haaland can't do something like that. Ikram Reyners, you are the star of the week. The Moegoe. The Moegoe of the week. I need a tissue for this one. I need a tissue. I promised that I'd be objective. I promised that I'll always be fair when I comment. Rulani Mokwena. I didn't think I would say it. I'm not supposed to say it. He's on top of the log. But man, those decisions Friday night. Rulani Mokwena, you're the Moegoe of the week. It's time for Bet of the Week. Get ready to win big by placing the right bets on the right games. Bet of the week time. So I've decided to try out something a little bit different. So I don't have a bet slip with a lot of games. I've only made one bet and it's an outright bet. What is an outright bet? You can bet on something where you're sort of kind of determining the future, what it's going to look like. So Betway's got this nice feature where you can actually predict who's going to be the Premier League champions. And I've gone with Arsenal. Yeah. After that Spurs game, I think Arsenal win every single game. Does City win every single game? Spurs do us a favor. And those odds for Arsenal to win the league, 3.20. That's 3 times the money back. You surely want to win with me, right? Click on the link below.
Remember to practice responsible betting at betway.co.za.
Thank you guys so much for joining me on another episode. But you know what time it is. It's the UEFA Champions League. And I'm going to be there. But before we do go, because I've done it already on my own show, can you please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified for future episodes.